and flexibility that we need to have. This will allow us to use not only as to achieve a certain goal, but it could also set as an aspect of as a pathfinder. As expectation changes, things changes, innovation could comes in. We may not need to meet this milestone in just one manner. It could be of different channel and different innovation. So it's just like a regulatory sandbox that allow this flexibility and agility. The next thing is to have the proper, stable legal and regulatory landscape and also financing facilities.
Yeah, I think that the government push is very important for any company on the path to sustainability. Because if the government is driving the sustainability drive, it will encourage a lot of private sector to come on board. One good example is Singapore Green Plan 2030. The government has already given a clear agenda for the next 10 years. What are the pillars that you should focus? How can the private sector be involved in this part of energy reset, city in the nature, or whatever in the 5 pillars. So it gives us a very good directive for us to make investment.
I think really we also need to try to help align not just Singapore, because we are a relatively small but relatively unified sort of society across the wider region. Going back to a top note that regards the climate summit, it is not just Singapore that's moving. It is the Europeans and the UK. It is Biden's America. And with that, plus China, Korea, Japan, over 60% of the world's economy is under some sort of carbon constraint. ASEAN is not at the moment. And I think that one of the goals must be to help align ASEAN. We are a hub in this region, and we've got to help them move.
I would say COVID-19 was probably the ultimate sustainability test on all of us. How has COVID set you back on your sustainability journey?
COVID-19 has not exempt anybody, whether is it public or even private. It has definitely set some setbacks and also some delays. But one thing to take note, for companies which are determined to do sustainability, this is already right in their core value. And these are actually the values you could really seize. It would probably set a bit of a delay, but you could see this being recovered very soon.
By the way, the ASEAN also recognizes that there's an ASEAN comprehensive recovery plan, which already includes all of these metrics that we are talking about right now. There's a broad strategy 5, which actually provides some guidance on framework for all ASEAN member states to look at more sustainable activities and look at the planet, nature as a means to be able to recover quickly and to prevent future crises from happening. So it is there, but of course we appreciate that Singapore is taking the lead in this and in putting some of these actions in reality and perhaps some of these best practices must be shared across the region.
Well, I think Singapore has been, from the start, a green country. It's in the DNA that our founding Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew bred in all of us. Secondly was the robustness. And though the late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew isn't here to see us through this crisis, those values of being a robust or resilient society and are coming to the fore. We've managed this well. The question is, how do we go forward? And taking that green DNA we started off going forward in a new world about climate change, I think our country, while small, can be a good example and a good lever in our region to really be that hub that can move the world.
All right. And on that note, that's all the time we have for this panel. A big thank you to my guests. A shout out to Teresa too for all their time and giving us such great food for thought.
Stories in Asia.
A quicker, portable way of testing for COVID-19 in just 5 minutes.
To breaking news in the US and Europe.
US President and President-elect Joe Biden is set to formally introduce his top economic team.
With an eye on markets opening across the world,
Wall Street's major indices all closed the month with double-digit percentage gains.
it's the one bulletin that offers you a global perspective. World Tonight, daily on CMA.
Authorities in China are racing to reach a goal of fully vaccinating 40% of the country's population by the end of next month. Right now, they're at 17%. But with Chinese not as concerned about COVID-19 because of low infections, officials are offering incentives so people get the jab as they try to avoid creating an immunization gap with other nations. Get the story on your next Asia First.
Japan is facing its biggest challenges since World War II: aging population, falling birth rate, shrinking labor force. Challenges that my generation has come to grips and find solutions. Innovate, that's what Japanese are known for. Foreigners, once shunned, are now welcome with open arms. Nothing is taboo anymore, and we have the resilience and resources to face the future.
Next on Japan Hour.
こちら群馬にいるんです。そこで地元の方たちがどんなものを食べてるのか、美味しい食材をよく持ってきたね。いやー、これうまいでしょ。おお、めっちゃビッツ。おいしい。
Japan Hour, Saturday on CMA. Japan Hour is brought to you by Sumitomo Corporation and SMBC. This is Singapore Tonight.
Good evening, I'm Dawn Tan. Tonight's top stories. The Health Ministry is working to ensure patient care is not disrupted as the cluster at Tan Tock Seng Hospital widens. All polyclinics are barring entry to visitors who've recently been in Tan Tock Seng Hospital wards. Singapore and Hong Kong are monitoring their COVID-19 situations ahead of their air travel bubble. They urge caution in reopening borders. 5 Khoo Teck Puat hospital staff disciplined for lapses that led to the wrong treatment for some breast cancer patients. Cloud kitchens cook up a storm here in Singapore. At least 5 new kitchens opened their doors for business over the last 6 months.
I'm Steve Lai. Also tonight, India's Supreme Court orders the government to ensure enough oxygen supply in Delhi by midnight. The European Union eyes opening up. Fully vaccinated travellers could be allowed to enter the bloc.
I'm Elizabeth Neo with your Asia Business Update. Singapore's factory activity at its highest in over 2 years. Plus a dramatic rise in e-commerce sales as more people stayed at home last year.
Hospitals here in Singapore have been asked to defer all non-urgent treatment as the country battles a COVID-19 cluster, the largest active one so far. The Tan Tock Seng Hospital cluster now has 35 cases, with 8 more today. The Health Ministry